Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another rant video. This is actually going to be a very huge topic, and this has actually been talked about a lot. And I'm about to add my thoughts and opinions and address this situation because it is very important for every one of you to hear and watch this video. And be sure to keep your eyes peeled and hear what I have to say. So what you have in front of you have a black woman, Lawrence Smith Fields, who's 23 years old, and on the left you have a white man, Matthew LaFountain, who's 37 years old, is an engineer. So the reason why I'm bringing these two up and why they're even together is because we have some urgent news that Lauren Smith Fields was actually missing, and eventually they found out she was deceased, and possibly allegedly that Mr. LaFountain may have or has something to do with her murder. And the family obviously is grieving. You have friends who are worried, like, as to what happened, and then they took it upon themselves um, to talk to the police, and they decided they didn't want to take action because apparently it's a really weird excuse. Apparently the reason why they didn't want to take action against Mr. LaFountain, or about the mystery of Miss Field's death, is because apparently Mr. LaFountain happens to be apparently a really nice dude. He's a good person, but it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit, honestly. It's just being lazy. They're just not willing to pursue it because for them, they take offense to it because there's possibly due to the fact that he's a white guy, and then they want to be able to look out for their own, or just possibly the justice system is completely flawed. But then karma bites right back at them because they are obviously being sued for not attempting to pursue with the investigation. And either way, they're gonna have to continue. So, but I want to explain how they even met up. So because it relates to my previous videos, well, me warning people not to even join these websites. So the websites I'm talking about have to do with dating apps. So Miss Fields met up with Mr. LaFountain on Bumble, which happens to be a dating app. Sorry. So apparently, I don't know how this even makes sense, but like the only reason she even wanted to meet Mr. LaFountain, because he obviously happens to be an engineer, but for business reasons. That just seems to me just doesn't add up. Like, not only is it not is not not only is it not a smart move to meet people that you don't know online, especially on dating apps, it's also very risky because you don't know who that person is because they can be anybody. But she was willing to take the risk, and it led to her death possibly. If whether he didn't do it, he's the only suspect in this situation right now. Consider how close he was to her, because possibly I'm assuming that this all started after they met up, like after talking on Bumble, met up for a cup of coffee at a coffee shop, had some bagels, whatever, talked about it. Possibly he was talking about business, like, and maybe when if they can do more than just business, like with hearsay, dare say, whatever. But the reason being is like maybe like this is just my opinion, this is just my thoughts. Maybe he even was willing to auto kill her. I don't know. Maybe it's because of due to the race. Maybe it's the fact that she wasn't really willing to be in a relationship with him or take this relationship a lot further. So maybe that's possibly why he could have possibly killed her, and led to a possible homicide because she wasn't really serious about her being in a relationship with him. And that's mob because if anything, she's the one that lured him. And then when he didn't get any gratification, he took it within his own hands to take her own life. But though, and from what I approve, I'm glad about my other fellow YouTubers. They might not know me. I want to thank Willie D Live. I want to appreciate also JD Black for bringing up this topic and telling people and warning people how bad it is being on dating apps, especially when you're trying to meet up people. Because I feel like, in my opinion, honestly, I feel like a lot of people they really lack they really have low self-esteem. They lack credibility. They lack confidence, and that's where they feel like it's necessary for them to, if they can't meet people in person, they might before they meet the person, they would rather talk to them online and then decide to hook up because they feel that's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier. When in reality, it's a lot better to meet people that you know that are close to you, especially within your neighborhood, your local area, like possibly your neighborhood. It could be a fellow neighbor. That's what I'm saying, because at least when you meet somebody, it doesn't feel suspicious to you. You feel you're a lot comfortable because you're in the safe zone where there's a lot, where you're in public, where there's a lot of people, and if anything suspicious were to happen, is that someone will be there to witness it. They can claim that like they see what's happening. Like, I'm not saying although I personally am not into snitching, that, but if someone does see a murder, that, and then people are willing to ask questions, and it escalates, where it's like it just, there's more people that are looking for the, trying to seek for the killer, and then it just keeps dragging on forever and longer. That's when they should be able to address it and speak up for it. But unfortunately, my condolences. It is my condolences to the family and to her and the people that care for whoever happened to be her close friends. At the end of the day, like, maybe some people, I'm not to say whether this is a wake up call. I can't really say because I don't know Fields any better. I don't know, personally don't know Fields as like overall. I don't know who she is in person, as well as LaFountain. So I'm saying that he possibly is responsible if there is, because he's the one that was closest to her, because where they even met up in the first place was on a dating app, and there's been reports, there has been like cases like this very similar where people do end up getting seriously hurt, and people not willing to take other people's advice to avoid dating apps, but then they continue to go forward and go through with it, thinking that the chance of being in a relationship will succeed. Because I understand people want to be in a relationship, they want to be happy with their lives, they possibly want to get laid. But with some guys, that they feel that it's very mandatory to be in a relationship, to have sexual intercourse with the person, and once it's all done, once things start to like flare up, eventually like they'll they'll either like cheat on the person. I'm not saying that, I'm suggesting that other guys should do, or they'll most likely leave this person for somebody else, or they'll be single. And again, obviously, like, this is very tragic. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know, even though I don't really trust the police within that department, the house that refused to find Lawrence Smithfield's killer. Hopefully, I don't really trust them, but at this point, yeah, they should be willing to do an investigation, and maybe they seek some sort of evidence. They may find some sort of trail that could quickly lead to the killer, and that she could be able to gain, so that the family can get justice as well as the victim. And for all the people who really cared, um, it's also best maybe if you have any ideas where she might have went, if you maybe she told you if there's any text. It can also lead to something good if you know something about it, because she might, before she passed, she might have texted her friends or anybody that she went somewhere, and then all of a sudden after that text she passed away because of that, because of an event where it led to putting herself in danger, whether it's with the boyfriend or anybody. But again, it's all about being safe. That we can learn something from this for the people who are trying to get on, who are trying to use dating apps, who are interested. I would say refuse. I would tell you to refuse, because this is what will happen if you, especially if you're in Lawrence Smithfield's shoes, and that maybe whoever did it could obviously be Mr. LaFountain, but eventually when they do track down the killer, he'll have to answer for his sins. Again, hope you guys enjoy the video. Eventually I'll be doing more content upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.